Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Ado About Nothing. And this week we're playing a deck that I'm actually shocked that we've never played before. We're playing Living End in Modern. And Living End, it's a deck that's been around in Modern for a long time, floating around a little bit beneath the radar a lot of the times, but it has gotten some subtle but really huge additions from Modern Horizons 2. So we're going to give the new and improved MH2 version of Living End a shot this week. So let's talk about the deck, about the big improvements, jump into a league, see it in action. All right, so here is our new and improved MH2 version of Living End. And on one hand, Living End has been floating around in Modern for like a decade now. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but its primary plan has been the same. You play Living End is the only card in your deck that costs 2 or less mana, which means anytime you cascade with a new edition, Shardless Agent, or an old edition, Violent Outburst, you know you're going to hit Living End 100% of the time, which means what the deck wants to do is on the first 2 turns of the game, cycle a bunch. We got a bunch of 1-mana cyclers. We got Straight Wraith as a free cycler, all attached to some pretty big bodies. So we cycle 3 or 4 times over the first 2 turns. Turn 3, we Shardless Agent or Violent Outburst, hit the Living End, wrath our opponent's board, reanimate all the things we cycled, build a janky board of cyclers big enough to kill our opponent in probably 2 attacks usually, and use that to just win the game. So this is traditional Living End stuff. Living End has had this plan for a long time, so why am I so hyped about the deck now? And the answer is the big new additions to the deck. When you think about how Living End works, there's a couple of things going on. One is you got that big restriction where you can't pay 1 or 2 mana spells or you ruin the cascade. The other is there's certain things that are really good against Living End. Counter spells on Living End, really brutal. Certain hate cards, Graveyard Hate, Rest in Peace, Leyline of the Void, really good. Chalice of the Void, Void Mirror, really good. Well, now we have a bunch of new additions that are answers to these cards. Grief, technically 4 mana, but we're evoking it for free as a Thoughtseize to get rid of a counter, to get rid of a hate card on turn 1, and it puts a body in the graveyard to come back once we Living End. Subtlety, kind of a pseudo counter that also ends up in the graveyard. Force of Negation, technically 3 mana, although we often free cast it, especially with Violent Outbursts. We do it on our opponent's end step or upkeep. Protect our Cascade spell with Force of Negation. Brazen Borrower, a great way to bounce like a Chalice of the Void, a Void Mirror, so we just Cascade, combo off, win the game. So these are huge new additions because they're technically so expensive that they don't ruin our Cascade, although in practice, they're often being cast for literally free, or Brazen Borrower just 2 mana to bounce something. So these cards greatly increase the deck's ability to fight through hate and to play kind of a fair game plan, much better than in the past. In the past, Living End was basically a glass cannon combo deck. You're just taking cycle, cascade, cross your fingers, pray to the magic gods that there's not a counter, that your opponent didn't draw a graveyard hate. If they did, then you probably lose. If they didn't, then you probably win. Now we can fight through those hate cards and play a fair game plan so much better because of these new additions. Mana base, whatever, just letting us cycle all of our stuff. The sideboard is the other place you see the huge new additions. Endurance, Graveyard Hate, that also comes attached on an evoke body that doesn't ruin Cascade. More subtleties, more Force of Negations, maybe the most important cards. Foundation Breaker, Ingot Tour, Force of Vigor, a ton of absurd ways to deal with hate. Killing Chalice of the Voids, Rest in Pieces, Soul Guide Lanterns, you name a hate card, these cards are going to answer it for cheap or free. Dismember for removal, and that is the new and improved MH2 version of Living End. That's our Much Brew deck for this week, so let's jump into a league, see how insane Living End can be. I can't believe we've never played Living End. I don't believe, for a stream, for a video, for anything, I don't think we've ever played this deck. So let's see how this crazy new version of Living End works. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap-up. Looking for some sweet new Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms cards? Well, you can order them now from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, by heading over to cardkingdom.com. Much ado about nothing time. We are trying out the new and improved Modern Horizons 2 Living End. Living End, all of a sudden a good deck in the format, perhaps. Opponent Aragaban. Okay, sure. The monkey is coming. So how do we want to do this? So we're going to get hit by the monkey. We need to cycle, blue cycle, green. Yeah, let's play Scalding Tarn. Yeah. I mean, the real question is going to be, does our opponent have a counter? Because we have what we want. which is cycle, cycle, hopefully hit more cyclers, cycle, 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 and then Shardless Agent Living End turn 3, which is kind of what this deck wants to do every time, over and over and over again. Moto dying, perhaps. I think we broke its poor brain. We're back. I was gonna restart, but I think we're good. All right, pass the turn. Moto managed to work its way through me playing that Scalding Tarn. little much for Moto. Opponent hits us. So the only downside of our plan here is because we have to start cycling, that's going to let our opponent know what we're doing, which is going to let them know that they need to leave up a counter, theoretically. Opponent cashing stuff in. Stoneforge Mystic. Or Calder complete, I assume. Batterskull. Interesting. And a tap land. Well, all right. We will Scalding Tarn. Get a island. Cycle. Cycle. More Cascade is good, I guess. Grief. Ooh, but we don't have a black card. All right, so Instant Speed Cascade is actually pretty good. This is gonna improve our odds, although unfortunately, we only have 2. We don't necessarily have like lethal board at the moment. It's not a bad board, but it's not a great board. Yeah, let's try to borrow this Ragavan. Drawing a black card for Grief would also be good. We can evoke it, get it in the graveyard, and then Violent Outburst it back. Opponent. The monkey returns, cracks a Scalding Tarn, and passes. Well, that is a black card, so we will Grief, exiling Grief. Yeah, this is pretty big. Opponent. Gonna put the Batterskull into play. This is fine, though, because now we get to do a counter check for Force Negation. We get another creature in the graveyard. Oh, they had the Calder complete, too. We will take the Batterskull. Grief dies, play Botanical Sanctum. The coast is clear, Shardless Agent, Cascade, Living End, and game. Target you, Grief you. Play, oh my goodness, that's so good. Get rid of the Ragavan, stack your top 3, so you're gonna draw nothing. So opponent's gonna draw a land next turn. I mean, I think this should do it. Not the biggest board I've ever seen, but I mean, opponent's got nothing going on, and we have 10 power or whatever, 11. Opponent scoops it up. Okay, well, that went pretty well. The question is, what are we bringing in against this deck? Probably a bunch of ways to blow up artifacts and enchantments. Ingot Chewers, Foundation Breakers, etc., etc. Do we also want Force of Vigor? Do we need Force of Vigor? Ingot Banner? Maybe we just go 5. 5 artifact and enchantment destruction spells. Go down the subtlety. I don't think we need that. Force of Negation. Do we even need it? I don't know. I'm not sure that we do. Oh, you mean Force of Negation? We can, on our opponent's turn, Violent Outburst and try to Force of Negation fight, or we can just cut it. Like, what else are we gonna cut? Like, Waker seems good. I mean, I guess we can slightly cut cyclers, just a bit. Let's trim. Let's trim a couple Force Negations, trim a couple cyclers, bring in a bunch of artifact destruction, evoke stuff, and try it like. We cannot keep this hand. No. 6 lands, Ingot Chewer is not going to get it done. This we can keep. This is actually kind of good. We will put Shardless Agent 1 to the bottom. I mean, so we got cycling. We have the Shardless Agent. We got a Foundation Breaker if our opponent can actually play some Graveyard Hay. Breeding Pool. Untapped. Let the cycling begin. So we mostly need to hit lands, I guess. Otherwise, this hand's solid. We can Grief at some point. Right now, we'll have to pitch in Architects, which we might need to cycle. Sanctifier and Vec. Ugh. Well, that's an issue, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, so that's gonna exile. A lot of our cyclers happen to accidentally be black here. Awkward. Well, Island. And that also dodges. Ouch. There's also, oh, you know what we gotta do? We need a Brazen Borrower, the Sanctifier, Grief, exile Architects. All right, get rid of the Sanctifier. I mean, this is okay. This isn't good, but it's okay. We can answer the Rest in Peace with Foundation Breaker. Opponent drew a lot of hate spells, but they did not draw a Clock. Rest in Peace, sure. So now we got a Foundation Breaker that, and then go back to our plan, and we got to play around the Spell Pierce. Good news is our opponent their hand isn't doing much. Opponent passing. Now we do draw a land, which is good. So evoke Foundation Breaker. Blow up Rest in Peace. Foundation Breaker. All right, well, Botanical Sanctum. Go. We're piecing it together, sort of. Opponent untaps. Hopefully they don't draw a 3rd piece of Graveyard Hate. Then we'll be in trouble. Stoneforge. So opponent's going to try to get a Clock. Well, we just need to get enough mana to... That's Cauldra. We need to get enough mana to resolve Living End through the Spell Pierce. But we basically, ooh, that's actually pretty good. But we basically know our opponent's hand. Opponent passes. Well, that's a land. We will Waker of Waves. Discard it. Misty Rainforest. Play Misty Rainforest. Well, okay. We can go for it next turn and pay for the Spell Pierce, so hopefully we're just good. What do we get back? Waker, Street Wraith, Foundation Breaker. That's probably still enough, especially if we kill the Cauldron opponent. Land. I mean, they could have drawn another form of interaction. There's a Cauldron. That's a clock. Well, all up to you, Shardless Agent. Hits us to 11. I'll crack Misty Rainforest. Get a Steam Vents tapped. Untap. Draw Living End. Misty Rainforest. Crack Misty Rainforest. Get a Steam Vents untapped. All right. Hopefully they did not draw another piece of interaction. Shardless Agent. Cascades. Living End. I mean, if it resolves, we should win. If it doesn't, then we probably lose. Oh, they top decked a hard counter. Okay. Well, this means one thing. It means we have we have to top deck. Ooh, that's unfortunate. We have to top deck a straight up Cascade spell next turn. I think we block here. Oh, all right. So we have what? 1, 2, not many. 6? We have 6 spells that win us the game. 6 out of 42. Opponent. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh my God. All right. Ah! Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. That makes things a little worse. Although if we draw a Cascade spell, we still win. Land. All right. Well, opponent appears to have some hate for our deck. Golly. Double Sanctifier, Rest in Peace, and a handful of counters. That is brutal. Oh, yeah. Actually, Sanctifier is kind of like uniquely problematic. The good news is we can still resolve some stuff through it. The bad news is, oh, do we keep this? We have 1 Living End in hand, which is bad. We only have 1 Cycler, which is bad, but we have a ton of other stuff we want. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it. I wish we didn't have this Living End in hand. That's the big disappointment. The good news against Sanctifier is we do have, as you can see here, like Stripe River Winders, so we do have things that do not get exiled by it, which is something at least. Well, pass the turn. Opponent, Scalding Tarn, cracks it. Steam Vents, untapped. And Ragavan, boo. Well, cycle the Riverwinder, cycle the Street Wraith. We hit a land. Play Misty Rainforest. Well, pass the turn. I mean, we got a plan. We got a plan. We'll see if it works. Scalding Tarn for our opponent. Goes to combat. Attacks us. We would rather not get hit by this. Crack Misty. Get the island. See if we can borrow this Ragavan. Opponent cracks. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Rest in peace, of course. All right. Well, we will Scalding Tarn. Crack it. Get a Breeding Pool untapped. Evoke Foundation Breaker. Blow up the Rest in Peace. Will our opponent ever run out of hate cards? Opponent, Flooded Strand. Ragavan. Passing. We draw Grief. Play Gemstone Mine. Evoke a Grief. Pitching Living End. One of the nice synergies of the deck. This gives us a way to get rid of Living Ends that we don't need. Opponent cracks. And counters. Well, all right. Shardless Agent. Cascade. Do you also have blue card Force Negation? Living End. All right. I mean, not insane, but fine. Grief you. Yeah, take Stoneforge. Well, we'll see if it's enough. We will see. Not the biggest Living End, but we do get rid of the Stoneforge, and maybe it's enough. Esper Sentinel for our opponent, sure. And passes. I'll go to combat. Attack you. Takes it. Breeding Pool tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent needs something pretty good. They need something pretty good or they're just going to be dead here. Even to the mini. You don't need to have that big of a Living End, apparently. Like, we only got back, what, 5 power? And that was still enough. Another Esper Sentinel, sure. Opponent passing. So their hand is what? Archmage's Charm to Unknown? Well, run out. Brazen Borrower, untap, go to combat, attack you. Oh, post scoops it up. Wow. Okay. Well, we could see the power of the new Modern Horizons additions to the deck. Like, Grief was huge, Foundation Breaker was huge. Our opponent had a lot of hate. Like, they did and that's part of what makes this deck, I think, impressive now is our opponent had a lot of hate. They had the Rest in Pieces, they had the Sanctifiers, they had the counter spells. Like, opponent had all the interaction you could possibly ask for against our deck, and our deck was able to fight through it. And that is pretty impressive. So, well, all right, sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are living ending. Well, we're gonna keep this. This hand can fill the graveyard. Opponent's on Luris. Hopefully this means they're Hammer Time. I think Hammer Time would be our easiest Luris matchup because they don't have Thoughtseize. That's the easiest way this hand gets beat, I think, is Thoughtseize on. Ugh. All right. Is a Thoughtseize on our Shardless Agent. We're gonna be able to fill the graveyard. Oh my god, they're this will be interesting. So our opponent's gonna help us fill our graveyard. But they also probably have hate for our graveyard. Oh, there's the land. When do we grief? Probably next turn. Let's play the Misty. Ooh, all right. Mill this opponent, please. please play a land. All right, opponent's really gonna help mill us. Well, we'll see if they have a bunch of surgicals. Upside is opponent's helping us fill our graveyard. Downside is mill plays graveyard hate like crazy. Opponent cracks, mills. I mean, if we resolve this, we're gonna win by 1.5 miles. All right, tap. Oh my! I think our opponent's just hoping we don't have it. Oh, this is gonna be a good living end. Going to be a good one. We will take a Steam Vents on tap. Life Tool not super relevant. We will go to our end step. Cycle. Boy, this is gonna be so good. We will cycle a Curator of Mysteries. The whole mill blowout. We will cycle an Architect of Will. We will untap. We will play Botanical Sanctum. We will do some griefing. Make sure there's no Force of Negation. Darkness and Cacophony. Well, we'll take the darkness. That could fog us for a turn and maybe give our opponent a shot. And then I guess we cast Shardless Agent. Cascades. Oh no, they didn't mill all of our. Wow, this is our last living end. Okay, they almost milled all of our living ends. That is a way we lose against this deck. All right, big ol' living end. Set up the top of your deck, grief you into a blip. Opponent doesn't even wait to see. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. There's 3 living ends. Our opponent milled 2. If they mill all of them, or if they can surgical them, we lose. Lose. What is our tech against this? Do we have tech against this? So we need to be able to fight graveyard hate, and we need to be able to protect our graveyard? Definitely need endurance to protect our graveyard. Endurance, Foundation Breaker. I guess the upside is we might not need to spend too much effort on filling our graveyard because our opponent's gonna do it for us. They're friendly like that. So what are we gonna cut? Probably just random cyclers, honestly. Especially ones that we can't cast. I don't know if that's how relevant that is. I mean, we still need some cyclers because they help us find our cascade spells, but I wonder if subtlety's worth it. I mean, only subtlety crabs. That's not exciting. Let's try something like that. Actually, you know what? Let's bring in the chewer too. 4 protection spells to get rid of graveyard hate. 3 endurances to hopefully fizzle surgicals. Yeah, the downside of all this is if our opponent can just go like turn 1, mill a living end and surgical it, it's going to be super difficult to win. Darksley Shores, crab. We have no cycling, but I think that's okay. Yeah, our life total is not relevant. Sanctum, go. I think that's okay because our opponent's going to fill our graveyard for us. Opponent, more crabs. Watery Grave, mills. All right, no living end, that's good. Oh my god, 3 crabs, okay. Okay, that's a lot of crabs. That is a lot of crabs. Opponent passes. We draw land, well, play the fetch. Actually, that turns on Archive Trap. Are we worried about that? All right, tap land. Go. Well, we'll see. A black card for grief would be super helpful. Opponent going to do a ton of milling. Yeah, I think a black card for grief is what we need the most. Please don't mill our living ends. Endurance. Well, I did not mill a living end. Well, yeah, Force of Negation. Opponent passes. Come on, black card. Any black card. Foundation Breaker. I mean, I guess we just got to go for it, right? Untap land. Shardless Agent, Cascade, living end, no counters, no graveyard hate. Oh, it worked. It worked. Shuffle your graveyard in, I guess. And opponent, done. Okay. Wow, this deck's busted. Okay. Opponent had the graveyard hate. We stopped the graveyard hate. And yeah, we didn't hilariously cycle a single time, which is normally what this deck has to do. Didn't cycle once. And look at this board on turn 3. So thank you, mill opponent. Thank you, crabs. Clack to you too, friend. Sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are living ending, and is this hand good enough? We're on the play. You know what? I think it's fine. Hopefully hit more cyclers. I mean, living end in hand isn't ideal. Subtlety in hand also probably isn't ideal. But we have a cycler and we have the cascade spell, so and I like being on the play. I mean, even if we end up getting back like Riverwinder and Subtlety, that's still not horrible. Yeah, thin the deck. Misty, go. See what our opponent's up to. If they have interaction, no companion to tip us off. Windswept Teeth, cracks it. Sure. Temple Garden, untapped. Amulet, interesting. Now let's get an island. Cycle. All right, more Cascade. That does let us Subtlety, I guess, is something. All right, that's good. Scalding Tarn. Go. Well, I mean, I think we're probably just going for it. We can cycle this. We can Subtlety something. I'll crack this. Get a Steam Vents untapped. Cycle into Grief. Well, Grief is not the worst. Okay, so we get to Grief. Exile the Living End. Thought sees you. Mistakes may have been made. It's awkward. Awkward. Okay. Well, let's take a Dryad. Play Botanical Sanctum. Yeah, that puts a Dryad in the graveyard. Well, let's pass. I mean, I think we're still doing it. I think what we do is our opponent's going to try to play the Dryad, presumably. We can Subtlety the Dryad pitching Shardless Agent and then just Violent Outburst everything back, and hopefully that gets us there. All right, so Subtlety. Pitch the Shardless Agent. Dryad going to the top. Well, now we Violent Outburst. Get them all back. Opponent does get the Dryad back, which is kind of awkward, but I think it's fine. Yeah, Subtlety does nothing. Grief can take the Primeval Titan. Well, and now we attack. Go to combat, hit ya. I mean, this should be enough. Opponent can't Primeval Titan. They can play the Dryad. They can Urza Saga, but I don't think this gets them out of it. All right, opponent blocks with the Dryad. I wonder, was it wrong for us to play the Grief? We want it in the graveyard, though. I actually don't know. That's kind of a weird situation because we don't really want to put things in our opponent's graveyard. All right, opponent cannot overcome, of course, because the deck's busted. We will bring in Foundation Breakers, and this is probably actually a good Subtlety matchup. Foundation Breakers, Subtlety. Probably not a very good Force of Negation matchup, so go down Force of Negation, maybe Brazen Borrower? And let's go down Carabid for Ingot Chewer. I guess we just try it like that. Do we want another, you know, let's go up another Chewer. Even outside of blowing up Graveyard Hate, blowing up Amulet is definitely worth it. Yeah, all right, we'll keep this. So we have a lot of good things to get. Ooh, okay. Well, now we need to find a way to answer that. I was gonna say we got a lot of good things to get in the graveyard, but no way to deal with hate, and opponent's got the hate. And the Amulet. Well, Cycle Street Wraith. Botanical Sanctum. Go. Yeah, this might be a slow-ish start. Opponent. Well, now that we know what our opponent's doing, I think we also bring in... Oh my god. Yeah, we're definitely bringing in a Force of Vigor now, too. Yikes. That is hate for days. Cycle. Well, there's... answer one. This is actually super interesting. So opponent has hate, broken card, combo piece. I almost wonder if we're supposed to just like blow up the Urza Saga. That might be worth it. Although I guess if we blow up Amulet, at least there's a chance we can like, we only need one more piece of artifact destruction to get rid of the relic. Oh, I really don't know. All right, we're definitely evoking Foundation Breaker. And this can get more graveyard hate too. You know what? We're gonna blow up Urza Saga. It feels like our opponent kept a ton of hate cards and maybe not a very good hand otherwise. So maybe we can kind of play like the weird control game, because this is another hate card eventually too. Opponent, bounce land. Untaps. All right. Well, now that we see how much hate our opponent has, definitely bringing in Force of Vigor. There's the Dryad. Opponent. Passing. Subtlety, eh? Well, we will Scalding Tarn. Go. Eventually we can hardcast stuff. Slightly less explosive than reanimating it, but I mean, that's a thing we can do. Opponent, bounce land. Opponent's going to be able to kind of go off with this Amulet. Bounce land. All right, so there's the 2 land drops. Another Dryad. Okay. This is awkward, but I think we just play a defensive Violent Outburst. We don't get to reanimate anything, but we get rid of both Dryads. Opponent passes. Ooh, Ingot Chewer. All right, we're going to wait. We're going to Breeding Pool untapped. I mean, opponent's only got a single land. I think we're fully into hardcast mode. I don't know if this mode's gonna work. We're gonna try though. Opponent passing. Yeah, let's Waker. Get a land. Opponent passes. Well, Scalding Tarn. Crack Scalding Tarn. Oh, we can't cast this, can we? It would be sweet if we could hardcast Architect, but I don't think we have black mana. We don't. All right, well, untap land. Ingot Chewer. Cast it. Blow up the Amulet. We're gonna let them keep their graveyard hate. They get to keep the graveyard hate, and we're gonna try to keep them from doing anything. And beat down with the Ingot Chewer. It could work. Don't try this at home. I totally don't know if this is the right way to play this, but at this point we're committed. We blew up the Saga. Opponent has to play the bounce land without the Amulet. Opponent passes. We draw a Waker of Waves. We'll go to combat. Hit ya. Bad news is I think we're running out of functional lands. Can we even cast a 7-drop in our deck? I guess we have Botanical Sanctum. Well, yeah, untap land. Waker of Waves. Get a Grief. Pass the turn. Opponent's down to 14. Opponent. I mean, we would like to get rid of the ley line now. Breeding Pool tapped. Opponent passes. Well, Cycle Straight Wraith. Foundation Breaker. All right. Well, Foundation Breaker. Full price. Actually, maybe we evoke it still. I kind of like being able to leave up this subtlety. Yeah, let's just evoke Foundation Breaker. Blow up ley line. We are slogging our way through. Hit ya. Down to 11. It would be pretty hilarious if this plan actually worked. Opponent exiles Foundation Breaker. Drops to 11. Is it time to evoke the Grief? Yeah, let's wait. Let's keep waiting. They can't do anything too good yet. Summoning pack, sure. Oh, this might be great for us. If our opponent's summoning packs and then we counter this or we subtlety this Dryad, do they lose? Dryad. Well, yeah, we will subtlety. Oh, whoa! It worked. Okay, well, our weird risky choices of spending our artifact and enchantment hate on Urza Sagas and Amulets and letting the graveyard hate stick kind of paid off. Like, that actually led to us winning that game. Well, sweet. That's not how you draw it up, but we'll take it. I mean, the deck is just showing more and more what it can do. Like with subtlety now, and grief now, and foundation breaker now. Oh, it's so good. It's got so much more play to it. In the old days, Living End was definitely the definition of a one-trick pony. Like you fill your graveyard, you hope it works out. If it does, awesome. Now the deck feels like it can kind of play a real game of Magic. Like this game, we played a real game of Magic and disrupted our opponent almost like a weird, super janky control deck, and it worked. Yeah, all right, sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are living ending in modern, and I think we keep this. We don't have a cascade spell, but having a living end in hand is normally awkward. But in this case, it's not horrible because we can pitch it to the grief to thought seize. I don't think we're gonna do it yet. Probably better to wait until we're gonna try to combo, quote unquote, and make sure there's no counter or something. Could get punished by a thought seize. But I mean, I guess if our opponent thought seizes living end, we're kind of okay, or grief. We're kind of okay with any of those outcomes. Oh, it's Tron. All right, well, this will be interesting. Can we beat Tron? Well, let's cycle a Riverwinder into subtlety and well, this is pretty fizzly. Well, we will grief, exile living end. Oh, we didn't even hit a land a cycle again. Double ancient stirrings, Ugin and Karn. Oh my god. No Tron though. No Tron. That's, I guess, somewhat good news. I'll take Ugin. No graveyard hate at the moment, which is sometimes they have like main deck relics would be bad. All right, so what do we need to find here? We need to find black mana first and foremost, a fetch land, or red mana rather. Some way to cycle this Carabid, basically. Opponent, gonna crack ancient stirrings, go digging, look for Tron pieces. I do like that we can delay the Karn by a while. I mean, I guess we could have forced negation this, but we can like subtlety the Karn and then force negation the Karn. We probably gotta try to save force negation for graveyard hate if we can. It is just a forest. All right. It is reassuring that our opponent is not very close to Tron at the moment. Expedition map. Do we need to counter that? Yeah, I think we're going to. I don't know if that's correct or not. Well, get rid of the map. Map plus Ancient Stirrings makes it pretty easy for our opponent to get Tron. Come on, fetch land. Oh dear. That's Quite literally the worst draw. That means we got one living end left in our deck, which is not good. That means we can get, if we get unlucky and draw the third, we're pretty much just done. That doesn't happen much, but that is a slight risk. Opponent finds a Tron land with Ancient Stirrings. Opponent passes. Street Wraith, I'll cycle it. Oh! Okay, well. Okay, well, I guess in some ways I'm glad that happened because it lets everyone know that that is a thing that can happen. It's not something that should happen very often, but we started with one living end in hand, and then we just had two more on the top of our deck, and next thing you know, we are dead. All right, so bring in a bunch of stuff that can answer graveyard hate. Do we go down the griefs? We can probably go down some griefs. I wonder if subtlety is better. So go down some griefs. Go down what? Carabid, a couple of river winders. Yeah, maybe we don't bring in. All right, let's try it like that. Maybe we don't bring in the fourth Force of Negation. All right, let's not do that again. I think it's probably arguable that maybe we should just not have kept that hand. It was a risky keep, and we definitely got punished for it. So it's possible that we just should have shipped it back. This is fine. Again, we don't have a cycler, and we don't have a way to blow up an artifact or enchantment, but we do have ways to cycle and fill the graveyard. Cycle, grief. See if we can snag a piece of graveyard hate, maybe. Yeah, well, taking the relic, passing the turn. All right, opponent doesn't have quick Tron, which is good. Yeah, expedition map, and we do have the violent outburst. A cycler is good. Play Botanical Sanctum. Go. Opponent untaps. So we gotta, okay, draws a tower. So opponent's gonna have Tron. That is awkward. Well, cycle the Curator. Or do we save it for subtlety? Yeah, let's cycle it. This has upside of hitting us another cycler. Grief. Oh, come on. Black card? All right, no black card. Spire Bluff Canal. No. So I think we just let our opponent do their thing. They can get Tron. They can play Karn. Once they activate Karn, we can violent outburst our stuff back and see if that's enough. The opponent adapts. Tron assembled. Karn. What do they do with Karn? Going after a land. Well, we will violent outburst. Living end. Get everything back. Take the star. All right, blue card. Blue card is what we want most now. So we get to kill the Karn and get your not a blue card. Well, kill Karn and then hit our opponent for a bunch. Oh, we might be fine. Opponent needs a top deck. They need like a miraculous top deck. They need Ugin. They need to top deck Ugin, I think, because they're dead on board next turn. I guess a Worm Coil would also be kind of good, and our opponent does not have it. All right. All right. Well, we survived. Yeah, run it back. Let's do that again. Hi. This deck's actually very powerful. All right. I mean, we're going to keep. We got the Foundation Breaker, which is good. And then we got a bunch of cyclers, which is fine. We are on the draw. Opponent, Tower, and Sphere. Sure. Well, Misty Rainforest. Go. I feel like this is a deck where thinning the deck is relevant to some extent, especially with a hand like this. Opponent, Ancient Stirrings, gets a... Oh dear. Karn the Great Creator. That might actually be the worst Planeswalker if they can play it next turn, because that's going to definitely get Graveyard Hates or Chalice or something. That could be bad for us. Well, cycle. Hold on to the thing that we might be able to cast. There's a Violent Outburst. About Abazes. Oh, all right. Spire Bluff Canal. Actually, you know what? Misty Rainforest. Go. I mean, we got a shot. We got a shot. Even if our opponent has Tron, we have a shot. And if they don't have Tron, then we are in really good shape. Opponent cracks. Sphere. Cracks. Oh, this is a big turn. Star. No land. Okay, another tower. Cracks. Desperate. And passing. Okay, so, well, we get to go for it. We'll see if it's enough. Misty, crack it. Breeding Pool. Untapped. Cycle Curator of Mysteries. Cycle Striped Riverwinder. Ooh, Street Wraith is nice. Cycle Street Wraith. That's a freebie. All right, we draw Living End. Sure. Subtlety. Ooh, and we have the blue card. Okay. Well, I mean, we're doing it. I think we just main phase it, honest. Well, do we main phase it? What goes wrong if we wait? They have the counter target sorcery thing. Warp Whale. Yeah, I guess we just do it now. Spire Bluff. Violent Outburst. Because even at instance, even if we cast it at instant speed, Living End is a sorcery, so they would be able to counter it. Living End. All right, that's a 2-turn clock. We got stuff down before the graveyard. Hey, now we got to worry about all this does primarily. I think opponent don't care about Ensnaring Bridge, because we have the Foundation Breaker. You don't really care about Ugin because we can tempo it with Subtlety. Expedition Map. All right, so opponent is going to assemble Tron. Is Tron going to let our opponent win though? They gotta have All Is Dust. Best draw is Grief, I think, just to make sure there's no All Is Dust. Urza's mine. So opponent got there on turn 4. Passes. We untap Grief. Ingot, sure. Well, play Scalding Tarn. Smack you for a bunch. Hope for no All Is Dust. Opponent untaps. Actually, we can beat All Is Dust, can't we, with Subtlety? Opponent's at 3. Oh, so I think we hopefully just have it. Opponent's gonna need something really, really good. Karn. Can it get anything that actually matters? Sure. I'm assuming this is Karn for bridge, but then we can just blow up the bridge. We have multiple ways to blow up bridge. Chalice. Oh, so they're gonna Chalice All Is Dust, but then Subtlety's gonna get him. Yes. Oh, Pona had a good line. Sure. All Is Dust. Oh no, our poor board. Whatever shall we do? Oh, Subtlety coming through while crack Scalding Tarn. Get a Steam Vets. Untapped. Yeah, not that subtle. Cast it. Game. Xaxes. Yeah, nothing to target. Doesn't matter. It's a 3-power creature. Opponent. Hoping we attack their Karn, I guess. Wow. Maybe this deck's just good. Maybe this deck's just good. Oh, it's actually kind of fun too. I don't think somehow we've never ever played a Living End deck. I believe I don't think we've ever played one on the YouTube, on the stream. I'm pretty sure this is the first time ever playing it, and it actually is really sweet. I'm enjoying it. I mean, maybe I'm enjoying it even a little more right now because we just got Tron, but yeah, sweet. Much ado about nothing time. We're going for the 5-0. The 5-0 with Living End, and we're gonna keep this. We can cycle and wake. Ooh, burn. Yeah. Well, we will see. We will see. Now it's Misty Rainforest. Ooh, is it worth taking the 2? That's the question. This is a straight up race to the max. All right, let's Misty, crack it. Island. Cycle. See if we hit something else for the Grief. Shardless Agent. Well, that's a Cascade spell. So how do we do this? We can Grief now. Yeah, let's Grief. Pitching Street Wraith. Save our life total a bit. Get rid of... Yeah, they are going to town with this Soulscar Mage, aren't they? Well, I guess technically Bolt is the most damage, so take the Bolt. Pass the turn. Oh, it's gonna be close. Opponent has a lot of damage in hand. Wooded Foothills. Cracks it. Mountain. Oh my god, Leonin Light Scribe. Okay. Oh, are we just gonna die before we untap on turn 3? Maybe. Opponent hits us. This has a lot of damage. We go to 18. We untap. We draw Living End, which is actually kind of good. Well, we will Grief. Pitch the Living End. Get rid of the Lightning Bolt. Misty. Oh my god, how much damage are we taking? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my goodness, that's lethal. Oh, wow. Wow, that is exactly literally the only card I think in our opponent's deck they could draw that would kill us here. And if they don't kill us here, we untap, wrath their board, wrath their hand, and win. Wow. What a clutch draw for our opponent. Goes to combat. Attacks. I mean, they got to go for it. Sacks the land. Mutagenic growth. Game. Wow. Yeah, that lava dart dealt a ridiculous 6 damage. 6 extra damage. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, so opponent, yeah, good draw. Oh, are we gonna lose our 5-0 to our opponent top decking the perfect card? That would be a little sad. All right, so I don't even know what our opponent's doing. Leonin Lightscribe typically isn't a card that sees play in Modern. Opponent probably has a bit of graveyard hate, but not a ridiculous amount, would be my guess. I guess we have to bring in Dismember, even though it's super painful. Maybe you go down Forced Negation. The good news is we are going to be on the play, which helps quite a bit. I guess we got to bring in Ingot Chewer. Go down a Riverwinder, maybe like that. We still do need to prepare for Graveyard Hate to some extent. All right, let's go with Foundation Breaker. Come on, Living End. Pull through for the 5-0. Well, okay, we'll keep this. Sand's fine. Not insane, but it's fine. I do like that we can just start with a Grief. Pitching a Dismember. This is another good way to deal with Graveyard Hate. Lightning Bolt, double Lumimancer, Swift Spear. What are we more scared of? Take Lumimancer. Steam Vents. Tapped. We can dismember it if we need to. It does hurt, but about it. Untapped. And Monastery Swift Spear. Gonna go for the quick damage. About it. Hits us. Down to 19. Now we do draw a land. Well, play Botanical Sanctum pass the turn. Now we have options now. We would like to Waker of Waves and dig for a Cascade spell mostly. Lumimancer and Lumimancer. Well, we're definitely digging for Cascade. We take our beats, we dig for Cascade. Worst case, we can Brazen Bar or Dismember next turn. Because remember, Living End also deals with our opponent's board. They did get back one Lumimancer, but all right, Cascade spell from Waker. I guess Grief is better than a land. Is it? I don't even know that it is. Yeah, I guess it probably is. All right, take the Grief. Not a Cascade spell. And we get the land anyway. Misty Rainforest. Crack Misty Rainforest. This is going to sting. Get an island. Dismember. Very painfully a Lumimancer. Oh, we might be in trouble. We might be in trouble past the turd. So we can Brazen Bar or bounce the Lumimancer after it gets big. We know there's a bolt in hand. This is a frightening situation. Another Swift Spear. So many 1-drops. Another Swift Spear. Oh, Cascade. Cascade. We need Cascade. Bolts our face. Grows all the dorks. And then Lava Dart off the top. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Down to 10. So we're going to have like a turn to draw the Cascade spell. Opponent hits us. No. Oh my, I was joking, Magic Gods. I was joking. Oh no. That's lethal even through the, oh, come on now. That's lethal even through the bounce spell. Oh, that was not in hand when we thought seize. Oh my god. Opponents really good at drawing Lava Dart. Yeah, I mean that's still lethal. Like they flash it back and that is still, I mean, we'll make them show it. Let's make them show that they know they can flash back their Lava Dart. Who knows? Maybe they think you can't. Yeah, and that is exact seize. Oh, were we gonna draw the Cascade spell? I don't even know if I want to look, because if we were, then I'm gonna be even sadder. Yeah, okay, it was gonna be a Grief, and then a Carabid, and then an Architect, and then a Grief. Well, all right, I guess we were not gonna find the Cascade spell for a bit, like 3 more turns. So, well, fair enough. Ah, those Lava Darts. So bad news is we didn't end up getting the 5-0. Good news is the deck was sweet, and we still got a 4-1. And we had opened some treasure chests. The search for Ragavan, chest 1 of 5. Mosswort Bridge, kind of a cool card. London, meh. Never really did much of anything. Even in life gain decks, it hasn't been good enough. 4 to go. Ooh, treasure chests. Heartmender. Beginning your upkeep, remove a +1/+1 counter from each creature you control. Has super sweet Rebecca Gayar. The one reason I want to go back to Lorwyn and Shadowmoor is the art is just so good and so unique. Like it is probably the best art from the modern era, at least in my opinion. Especially if you value differentness and uniqueness. Ooh, Soul Talisman. I don't think that's the Modern Horizons 2 card we were hoping to open. How much is it worth? Soul Tally's 1 cent. It's worth 1 cent on Magic Online. A cent. No, really? Oh wait, I guess because it's a promo, it's 8 cents. Okay, so basically that is definitely not a Ragavan. All right, we get Hollowborn Barghest. Demon Dog. Okay, these chests have not been great. These chests have been like our opponent top taking Lava Dog. Indomitable Ancients. I was just saying about how I like this era, and this card is so janky. It's a 2/10. It's a vanilla 2/10 for 4 mana, and apparently that's rare. Apparently, how are these stats like unprecedented? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the only 2/10, and it's like, I mean, I guess there was Doran back then, so maybe that's it. There is Conqueror's Galleon and Indomitable Ancients. Has never been reprinted for some reason. I wonder why. Well, all right, that's Living End. The league was sweet. The deck was sweet. It's pretty spicy. The MH2 improvements are a really big deal. And we almost got the 5-0. So anyway, that's wrap up stuff. Be right back. So what did we learn this week about Living End, the new and improved MH2 version in Modern? And the deck actually felt pretty insane. We went 4-1. We were 4-0 going into our last match where we played against white-red Magecraft of all things, and just got absolutely spanked by Clever Lumimancers and all these new like Prowess style stuff. Our opponent's deck was just so fast, which was actually kind of impressive because the big turn for Living End is usually turn 3, and our opponent was like running us over before we could get to our turn 3 and try to combo off and win the game. So 4-1, definitely a pretty reasonable record. Most importantly, the deck just felt really strong, mostly because of the new additions. Like, we had a hilarious game against Amulet Titan where we brought in a ton of Foundation Breakers and Ingot Chewers to fight against our opponent's Graveyard Hate, because, you know, they have Urza Saga to get Graveyard Hate and ruin our plans. So we brought in all this like Artifact and Enchantment Hate, and we were able to not actually use it to kill the hate, but blow up like the Urza Saga, blow up the Amulets, and we actually won by just hard casting our dorks and playing this weird control role. Plus those cards are getting rid of the hate. Plus we saw like Grief being able to get things out of our opponent's hand that could ruin our combo. It was absolutely insane. So Living End, it is a frightening deck now thanks to these new additions. It actually might be sneakily one of the decks that gain the most because of Modern Horizons 2. It might not be that obvious. Like some decks you see, oh, there's a crazy new like Merfolk, so Merfolk gets better. This is a more subtle increase in power where it's these like evoke free spells and these sideboard cards, but the end result is Living End being so much better than before, being able to fight through the hate cards, being able to answer the opponent's sideboard answers, and the end result is a really powerful deck. So that is Living End. That's been our bunch of brew for this week. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.